Alright guys, so now that you know all of the DOM selectors, now what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to traverse the DOM. And what traverse means is basically move up and down. So we're going to be dealing with parents and children of specific nodes or whatever it is that we select. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just declare a variable called val, just like we've been doing, and then just console.log at the bottom of the page so that we don't have to keep writing console log. Alright, we'll just set different things to val. Now I'm going to set two constants. Okay, the first is going to be, I'm going to call it list, and it's going to be the UL. Okay, so the UL that wraps these list items, and we'll get it with document.querySelector, not query selector all, just plain query selector. And you could just put UL in here. I'm just going to do UL.collection. Okay, and then I'm also going to create a variable called list item, and I'm going to use document.querySelector for that as well. And we're going to select the li with the class of collection item. Now there's more than one of these. All of these have the class of collection item. What this is going to do is it's going to select the first one. Okay, so it's going to select this one. Actually, you know what I'll do is just put in first child here, like that. Alright, and then just to check it out, I want to make sure, let's say val equals list item. I just want to make sure that that's actually being selected. So it should be the first one. So if I hover over that, you can see it's the first one. Alright, and if we were to log list, let's go right here and say val equals list and save, and we get the UL. Alright, so what we're going to look at are different properties that are attached to these items or these nodes. And they have to do with getting children and parents of these nodes. So we're going to start off with the list, which is the UL. Alright, so let's say that we want to get the children or the child nodes of the UL. So let's say get child nodes. So we'll set to val list dot child nodes. So let's see what that gives us. So what this gives us is an HTML collection. I'm sorry, not an HTML collection, a node list of all of the child nodes. Now notice that not only do we have the LIs, that's probably what you were expecting if you have no experience with this, but we also have these text nodes. Alright, now these text nodes are actually just the line breaks. So if we look at our HTML here, we're looking at the children of this UL, which are all these LIs. Alright, now since there's a line break right here, this LI is on the next line, this actually counts as a text node. So you can see there's 11 total. If I were to go ahead and get rid of that line break right there and save, now there's 10. If I were to do it on this one here, save, now there's 9. And if I were to do it to all of them, all of the text nodes would disappear. Alright, so this can be a little confusing at first. Now, in most cases, you're not going to want to care about the text nodes. You're going to want the elements, the child elements. So for that, we have a property called children. Instead of using child nodes, we can use children. So let's do that. Let's say get children element nodes. Okay, so we'll say val equals list dot children and save. And now you see we have 5. And this is actually an HTML collection. This is not a node list. So child nodes returns a node list. Children returns an HTML collection. Alright, notice there's no text. It's just the elements. Now I want to show you something. I'm going to just comment this out for a second. And then we're going to say val equals list.childNodes. And let's get the first one. So we'll say 0. And see what that gives us. So that gives us the text node. Alright. Now we can get the node name as well. So if I were to say child node 0 dot name and save, I'm sorry, not name, node name, and save, we'll get text. Now we can also check the node type. So for that we'll do dot node type and save, and we get the number 3. Alright, now we know that the one after the text node is an element, so I'm going to put in 1 here and save, and we get 1. So these numbers might be confusing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in a section of comments here, and these numbers pertain to what type of nodes these are. Alright, so an element node gives us 1. So right now we're looking at the first list item with this 1 right here. So that's an element. 0 was a text node, so that gave us 3. Alright, now attribute is 2, which is deprecated. Comment is 8. The document itself is 9, and the doc type is 10. So if we actually put a comment inside of this UL somewhere, let's go right here, and we'll just say test and save, and then let's go back and let's just look at child nodes, and you can see now instead of 11 there's 13, because what happened is it added the comment as a node. You can see it right here. It also added another text node because we had another line break. So you can see the comment is 3, so let's check out the node type of 3. So we'll go ahead and change this to 3 and save, and we get 8. And as you can see, 8 is a comment. Alright, so just know that child nodes gives us all different types of nodes, not just elements. Children is going to give us just the elements, which is for the most part what we want when we're working with the DOM. Alright, at least in my experience, you're going to use children more than child nodes. Alright, so let me just go back and take that comment out. Alright, we're going to continue on here. Let me just uncomment this. Okay, so as I showed you before, children just gives us the HTML collection of all the elements. Now we can select specific ones, so if I want to say val equals list dot children 0, whoops, and save, it'll give us the first one. If I do 1, save, that'll give us the second one, and so on. And we can do things to these as well. So if I were to take this one and say dot text content equals hello and save, you'll see that the second one, the text is changed to hello. Okay, now we can also get children of children. Okay, so if we were to say val, let's do val equals children, we'll get, let's see, we'll get 3, children 3, and then let's do dot children and see what that gives us. It gives us an error. Oh, that's because I don't want that yet. Children is not defined. Let's see. Oh, I forgot the list. So list.children, 3.children. So what that does is it gives us the children of the fourth one down, which is the index of 3. So 0, 1, 2, 3. And it has a link in it. Okay, this delete is a link, and that's what it's giving us. You can see it gives us the link. Well, actually gives us a collection of the links, but there's only one. So it has an index of 0. If we wanted to access that specific link, we could say 0 like that, and now we see the A tag. Alright, and we can do what we want with this. If we wanted to add an ID, we could go .id equals, and we'll say test link and save, and you can see that it's added a test link ID. Alright, so in addition to child nodes and children, we also have first child. let's go ahead and take a look at that. So we'll say list dot first child and save, and we get text. Okay, so just like with child nodes, first child is going to give us the first node, whether it's an element or whether it's not. In this case, it's text. All right, now again, you might not want to deal with text nodes, so what you could do is you could use list dot first element child and save, and that will give you the first actual element, not giving you any text nodes. Okay, so in most cases you're going to use this. Now just like we have first child and first element child, we have last child and last element child. So let's say last. I'm going to just comment this out for a second so we can see what that gives us, and that gives us a text node. All right, if we look at the last element child, that gives us the actual last list item here. Just going to put some comments in here. Okay, so those are some other methods or other properties that we have. We can also get the count. So if we want to say val equals, and let's do list dot child element count and save, and you can see we get 5 because we have 5 children of the UL. Okay, 5 list items. Now, just like we did all of this stuff with children, we can do the same with parents. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use this list item that we created, which is this first list item here. Let me put a comment right here. I just like to have this stuff commented for you guys so you can go back for a reference. So this will count child elements. Okay, so let's go ahead and say get parent node. So we'll take our list item. Actually, we'll set val equals list item dot, and then we have parent node. Okay, so if we save that, we're going to get UL. Okay, because we're talking about this list item right here. Its parent is going to be the UL. Now there's also parent element, just like parent node, but in most cases it's going to be the same exact thing. All right, so again we get UL. Now you can also get parents of parents. So if we were to take this and say parent element dot parent element and save, now we get the card action, the div with the class of card action. Because if we look, we're starting off with this list item here, the first one, its parent is the UL, and then the parent of the UL is going to be this div right here, which is card action. All right, so you can traverse up or down using these methods or these properties. Okay, now just like we have children and parents, we also have siblings. So let's say get next sibling. So we'll say val equals, we'll take the list item, which is the first list item, and we'll say dot next sibling. All right, now if we save that, that's going to give us a text node, because just like with the child nodes and first child and last child, this also deals with other types of nodes, not just elements. So next would be text. Now if we wanted the next element, then we could do next element sibling, which would be the next list item, okay, which is the second one. All right, and if we wanted the one after that, we could go ahead and do that again and save, and now we get the third one. Okay, so we can move up and down. Then we could actually do dot, actually I'll show you that in a second, but we can also get the previous. So let's see, I'll just copy all this and we'll say get previous sibling, and then we also have previous element sibling. Just going to get rid of this. Alright, so if we first look at previous sibling, Save. That gives us a text node. If we look at previous element sibling, it's going to be null. The reason it's null is because we're dealing with the first list item here. So there is no previous sibling. Okay? There's a next because we can go down, but there's no previous. Now up here, let's comment this out for a second. So this gives us the third one. Now I could attach onto this dot previous sibling or previous element sibling, and now it's going to go back up one to the second. All right, so you can move up and down. That's what traversing the DOM means. All right, so hopefully this all makes sense to you guys. All right, so I think that's a good place to stop. So in the next video, we'll continue learning about the document object model.